Welcome to my cactus live stream. Just doing cactus growing stuff. I brought a few seedlings today for the first time for the stream, and I want to show you them. So yeah, let me move this here, and I turn on the little lamp here, just so we have a little bit of additional light, so I can show you everything. Yeah, this is good. This is great. So yeah, I just wanna check some containers today, a little bit of seed cleaning, and then I brought plants from the greenhouse where I need to do something. And I gotta be careful. I don't want to have animals from the greenhouse, like little insects from the greenhouse everywhere in my house. So yeah, I might have to here's a little tiny kind of spider, something like that. I'm not sure what to do with it, so let me just move it away. I will just take it out here. I don't want to have any tiny spider animals here in the house, so I will bring this away and then I'll be back. But yeah, there's always life in the seedlings. Okay, so I'm back. So yeah, I brought that little spider that was walking around here, brought it out, and we will take a closer look at the seedlings, at the plants later on. I want to check a few different kind of plants that I brought from the greenhouse. They all have different kind of problems, but they all have it in common that there's a problem. Yeah, I'm not sure how long I will be able to do the stream today. Might have to cut it short eventually. I'm currently in talks about the heater. We've had something replaced at the heater and it wasn't really watertight. It's kind of leaking a little bit. Hey mate, welcome to my stream. Good morning. I just brought a few plants here for the first time on the stream. So we can just go through them, have a look at all the problems and all. But yeah, apart from that, welcome to my stream. Great to have you guys around again. It was a little bit chaotic this morning. Still constantly dealing with home repair. We had heating oil delivered, and the heater needs to have some additional work. But yeah, everything's all right. Feeling great right now, and yeah, I brought a lot of containers here that I want to go through with you. But first, I want to do the seedlings that I brought, the plants and all. So yeah, let's just discuss it. So this is from the greenhouse. This is a plant that I brought from the greenhouse, a grafted plant, grafted on a columnar plant, columnar grafting stock, in order to make it grow faster, in order to make it flower faster. Thank you, mate. Thank you for participating. I appreciate it. Great to have you around. So yeah, this thing, I just brought it with me, and I already found a slug, like a pretty big slug that was hiding here. So in that regard, that already helped, that we took out the slug. And now I want to take out the weeds, just taking out everything that has grown on the soil. I want to improve. I want to make it easier for the soil to dry. So I'm removing everything that could trap water, collect humidity, and a lot of this oxalis kind of weeds, they are always humid. They always trap water. And when you have that, you are constantly, your grafted plant is constantly surrounded by humidity, and that's just not good. And you can see it, you can see it, that is just not looking perfectly. So taking that out now, everything, all the greenery, apart from that, it looks good. I mean, it has skin problems here and there, but that's probably just from having too much shade. So if I place this in a good spot, it will be all right. This is from a cross of my own from 2020. 2020-80. I need to look that up, what kind of a parent that is. Hey, guten Tag. Great to have you around. Thank you for joining. Yeah, I'm just going through seedlings today. And I already had to stop because I had a little spider that came out of the seedling containers here. It can happen, you know. Life is everywhere around my plants. So yeah, this one is done now. I mean, we can just move this thing back into the greenhouse, and this time I will try to give it a better spot, a better position somewhere on the shelf where it gets a lot of light, because I don't like the skin discolorations. When you see something like that, it's usually a sign that something about the care isn't great, something about the environment isn't great. In this case, it's almost certainly the lack of light, because this is on a shelf that doesn't get so much of it. Okay, next one. Then I have this here. So what happened here? First and foremost, oxalis again. Oxalis coming out of it, and you can see here why it's a problem, why it can become a problem. This happens during a time when you are not watching the plants. Like in summer, this usually doesn't happen because you're constantly removing this kind of stuff. But now in winter, this can happen easily. And if you're unlucky, like one little injury below this area where the jungle is, it can cause an infection where you lose the whole plant. Okay, and you see it's very difficult to get that oxalis kind of stuff out. Got to make sure that whatever I'm ripping out here isn't a root. This looks a little bit like a root, so I'm putting it back in. But a lot of oxalis has rooted deep in this pot. It's very hard to get rid of it completely. And that's not the goal. The goal is just to create an environment again where the cacti aren't surrounded by humidity. And now here's another problem. This was a graft, and this was a grafted piece of a rib. Just a little rib graft, slab graft, whatever you want to call it. And now, since the stalk hasn't been, since the edges of the stalk have not been flattened, it will pop again from this part. And this is the type of stuff, this is why they recommend removing the edges of a grafting stalk, because they will pop and they will try to push the sign of the stalk. This can happen when the edges of the stalk are not removed, because everywhere you remove it, the scarred tissue is very different to the normal tissue, and the grafting stalk will have problems to pop again from scarred area, from scar tissue. So we try to kind of remove everything that we can right now. Brought me a knife, and I will take off this little pop here, because otherwise it would continue to press against the grafted rib piece here. This tiny piece is actually what I want and nothing else. I don't want to have pops from the grafting stock. So I will remove this now carefully so I do not damage the actual graft. And now you can see how it looks when you're kind of flattening the edges, trying to remove that kind of part everywhere, in order to keep the stalk from popping again, popping and popping and popping. Here you can see it. This is how you should usually do it. Sometimes I'm lazy and I'm not doing it, and this is a good example why I should do it, you know. So now it's winter. I'm removing stuff from the plant in winter, which means I cannot move it into the greenhouse now, can't move it into high humidity now. So this plant will stay indoors for a while until the new scars that we created until everything there is calloused. But apart from that, this is okay now. We have removed everything that can push against the grafted piece here. The connection, everything has grown together. Everything is healthy here. But if the grafting stock starts to pop, the grafting stock will put all the energy into that little piece that it grows from itself. A popped piece that comes out on the grafting stock will often have priority over the graft that you did. So it's important to remove everything that can take away nutrients from the graft, because otherwise this thing would continue to pop and pop and pop, and the scion would not get any kind of energy, would not grow. It would be alive, it would barely be alive, but not in a way where actual growth takes place. And you graft it for propagation. This is just grafted so it pops, so you can remove the pieces from that little grafted rib piece there. Okay, next one. I brought four little pots here. Here's another one. Check this out. Again, oxalis. Oxalis being a huge problem in the greenhouse. So I will take this away. Take this off. Ideally, you try to get the roots out with it, but oxalis sometimes it takes you to take the whole pot apart, take out the soil until you can really get rid of it. And due to the fact that oxalis is so kind of invasive, it's hard to get rid of it one way or another. So I usually just remove it every time it comes. I don't think at this point it is fully possible to get rid of it. When you have plants outside, it's just naturally that at some point oxalis will come back again. But that's okay. We will just take it out. Right now we're in winter, and during the winter time, this kind of stuff can be very dangerous because it creates a humid layer on the surface, on the soil, and that thing would stay wet all winter. And now there's at least a chance that the humidity can evaporate. Apart from that, I mean, these are okay. They should be singled out very soon, but for now it's okay. I'm not really, I mean, I don't have the space to single out too much, but for now this is okay. Okay, last one. I have another one that I brought. And in the future, I want to do it like this, where we just discuss problems with seedlings, and always happy to take questions. If you want to know anything, just write them in the chat and I'm happy to help. And if not, I will just move along doing this stuff here. See, this one has the same kind of problem. Same invasive kind of plant that comes out everywhere. Removing it. Okay, so this is what came out with the root system. This time I got most of the root system, but also not everything. It's very difficult to get rid of it completely. But now, you see, it's instantly a very different kind of situation. You instantly have a cleaner appearance, and it just means that humidity cannot stay around for so long. This will already be all right. Also here you can see that I did not remove the edges of the grafting stock, which means this could become also a problem like the other one, where something pushes against the scion. Let me see what this is. This is Herzogiana, form of Tariensis, Echinopsis tariensis. Pretty good. Pretty good kind of plant. Can't really fully read it, but it's Herzogiana. Just not sure if it's from Australia or not. But okay. This will go into the greenhouse also. And yeah, now this is clean. I want to leave them on the graft until they flower, ideally. Maybe for another 2 years. If possible, I will try to get them to flower within that time. And some of them, you know, when we're talking about Thaiensis, Echinopsis thaiensis, that species is a little bit more reluctant to flower early on. So maybe it will take longer, but at least we're trying to push it, trying to get it to flower fast. That often helps. So you don't need so much time to get things to flower. Okay, and now I want to start checking the seedlings. I brought a lot of seedlings here, and I want to go through them one by one so you can have a look. And this is one that we transplanted in another video, and we transplanted in pumice. And due to the fact that pumice, the structure is a little bit roundish, it moves easily when you move this thing around. You pick it up, you kind of press against the walls of the pot, and you instantly generate a little bit of movement. So you have to handle it carefully. And what I do now is I would check all the seedlings if something did not make the transplantation process. So here's something that looks like a fungal infection. I will remove that. If I see that a seedling did not make it, or is maybe at risk of not making it, I will take it out. I do not want to get into a situation where I have a closed container here, because that's what happens. We will close it up again and put it under the plant lamp. And when you have it there, it shouldn't have a raging fungal infection going on inside a closed bag. Everything gets worse with humidity, these kinds of fungal infections at least. So you need to be very careful when you close it up that whatever is in there will be healthy enough to make it. And one thing that gets very clear, like when you are just using washed pumice like I do here, this is just pumice, volcanic mineral, and a great volcanic mineral at that. Great for cactus growing. It can store nutrients. It doesn't create that kind of humidity around the root system that can cause root rot. It is very soft on the roots. So washed pumice can be great, but it has disadvantages, for example, because of the round structure. So it can be necessary to, when you make a soil mix, to mix in something to prevent the pumice from rolling around, from being too easy to move, too easy to disturb. You want to have a solid structure that is a little bit like it's one thing, you know. But apart from that, everything looks good in this one. Just closing it up again and putting them under the plant lamp again. So next one. And again, happy to take questions if you just have any kind of, you know, cactus related or also unrelated. I'm happy to take questions all the time. So here's another one. This one was also transplanted into pumice. And this one, yeah, there are 1 or 2 seedlings that didn't make it. So we need to take them out. You will just know when you see them. Always try to prevent the big fungal infection before it actually happens. When you have something in a closed container, in a closed bag, make sure that it doesn't it doesn't expire within just a few days and cause a chain reaction that basically leads to you losing the whole container, because that can happen easily. So yeah, and also welcome to all the outsiders who found the stream just from being online. I appreciate it. This is all about growing cacti. We are growing cacti from seeds, doing a lot of cactus related work. Currently, we are checking the seedlings that we have sown out. I started sowing out on the channel maybe 1.5 months ago. And what we are currently checking is just, it's the fruits of our labor, what we grew in the last 1.5 months maybe. And there are many cactus seedlings already. We have just done 1.5 months and we have created an army of cacti already. The only thing we need to be careful of, we need to make sure that we do not lose them. You know, at this point, it is very easy to induce germination, but it is hard to get them to actually adulthood, you know, to having an adult plant. Hey, welcome to the stream. Thank you for joining. I appreciate it. I already had a few containers here that we went through. Classic problems like oxalis removal. And now I'm going through the smaller seedlings from the sowing out. I'm not really happy with the ones that we transplanted into washed pumice. But for now, it has to work. I mean, we will wait. This will also be great to compare it against the seedlings that are not in pumice. Different kind of medium now. So everything is a little bit different. It dries differently. The structure is different. It is a little bit more easy to move. Roundish kind of mineral structure will always be, like when you move the pot, there will always be a little bit of instability in the pot. And that is something you need to be aware of. Only handle everything very carefully, because the soil with washed pumice is not like the soil with actual soil. It just doesn't stay together as well. So yeah, these were the two that are in pumice, and I think these were the only ones. Okay, I'm opening this up and a fungus gnat comes out. Not liking this. Not liking it at all. Apart from that, seedlings still look good. But there are one or two that suddenly lie on the ground. And that is usually fungus gnat material. That is usually the kind of damage that you see from fungus gnats. And you know, like when you see fungus gnats, you always see the flies. They're tiny flies, a little bit like fruit flies. But the way they cause the damage on the seedlings is by biting into the roots. They lay their eggs into the soil, and then you have these little kind of worm-like transparent worms that are crawling around on the soil, and they will start taking little bites out of the roots of the seedlings. And that's why when you have fungus gnats, you often notice it first when a seedling falls over, when a seedling suddenly disappears, when it's suddenly gone. Fungus gnats are really a problem. The reason we transplanted these into pumice was just because of the fungus gnats, and we might have to do it with these too. But right now they are still a little bit too small. This is the size where I wouldn't really want to transplant them already. So I actually thought about giving them maybe another 3 weeks or so. But with the way fungus gnats are active in this container, it might not have 3 weeks. So we'll see. Also, fungus gnats in a container, they will also lead to fungal infections. Because of the biting, because they cause micro injuries at the root system of these tiny seedlings. And that is just dirty. You know, they don't do this in a clean way. So there's always fungal infections nearby, always surrounding them a little bit. That's why they are called fungus gnats, you know, like they are kind of inducing a fungal infection by causing micro injuries all the time. Sometimes the seedlings don't mind. It really, I'm not sure why. Maybe some species are more likely to fall victim to them. But it isn't a problem in all of the containers where I saw fungus gnats. It's just in some where it's really bad. Here's a good example. Clean seedlings, everything looking nice. Healthy seedlings and all. This is from a flying dragon Cantora cross. The breeder of this hybrid is of this cross here is Uwe Kahle. I'm growing a lot of his seeds this year. He's probably the breeder that influenced me the most, like in my breeding. So I have a lot of plants from Uwe. And I'm also sowing out stuff. When I get these kinds of quality seeds, then you just have to make it work. You just have to find a way to grow them. Okay, and these are Lubivia winteriana. Potted too deeply into the square pot. I recommend when you fill the pots with soil, fill them up fully. Try to press against it to see if maybe there's still room where the soil will later sink in. Because it's just not good when you have a when the seedlings are so low compared to where the sun would hit them otherwise if they were a little bit higher in the pot. So I recommend you avoid that. Every now and then, I mean, I know, you know, it's not that I don't know. But when you are working, when you're working with soil, there's this subconscious kind of thing where you try to save soil, and kind of put in not enough soil. And I really need to be more aware of that. Hey, welcome to the stream. Thank you guys for joining. I appreciate it. Doing all kinds of cactus relating stuff today. I have seeds here, and we will go through the seedlings now. If you have missed the beginning, there were a bunch of larger grafts and seedlings that are brought in from the greenhouse. I've checked those at the beginning of the stream, and that was pretty interesting. So if you have missed it, maybe check it out later. I want to do more of the seedling checking on the stream too. I started posting them as reels, and that was great. I mean, they are found. People find these little reels a lot easier than they find anything else. So I might always continue to do a bunch of seedling inspection videos also. But apart from that, I want to do something on stream too. They're looking okay. No fungus gnat. I'm not seeing any kind of seedling where I need to do something, so I'm just closing it up again. You gotta, when you are dealing with so many different plants, with so many different containers, you just gotta appreciate not having to do anything. It's the little victories that you gotta celebrate. So yeah, putting this aside. Next one. These are looking okay, but wild differences in regards to the height, to the level of the where the seedlings are. Some of them are sticking out. You can see them when like this, but others are maybe 2 centimeters deeper. So also here, what I would criticize on my own work, not having put in enough soil, not having an even soil layer. But yeah, I know that from myself sometimes. Apart from that, just transplanting a few seedlings here and there. I just saw that some of them had been covered by soil. That can happen sometimes when you handle a container with seedlings and you press it too hard and you're kind of breaking the soil, the top soil layer, and you can then accidentally cover the soil, cover the seeds with the soil, cover the seedlings with the soil, whatever. And you would lose them if they are covered by soil. They would almost certainly not make it. So it's often good to be aware of this kind of stuff. When you see that there's something where soil has been moved, make sure to look into it to see if there are any kind of seedlings below it. Here's another one that was just, it wasn't visible, it was just covered by soil. And it's not only that you are losing one seedling, it's that you have one tiny source of a fungal infection once that seedling expires. You have a non-visible fungal infection below the soil level, and it can easily spread upwards to the roots of the seedling. So always prevent that. Try to prevent a problem before it even happens. Try to prevent before something becomes a huge problem, because that's always easier than treating them later. These kind of seedlings here, they are so tiny, they're so fragile. You can compare it to trying to nurse little birds, like the little chicks, when you try to replace for their parents and try to raise them yourself. It's very difficult early on in the beginning, and everything can be too much for them. They might not take too much sun. They might not take too much water, too much cold, too much heat, wrong kind of concentration of the fertilizer. Anything can be too much, temperatures and all. Hey, good morning. Welcome to the stream, guys. I appreciate it. I'm going through the seedlings again. Just discussing stuff that where I feel like something is a problem. For now, it's usually stuff like seedlings falling over, where either fungus gnats have been involved or it was me by just handling them. Apart from that, this looks good. Closing it up again. I don't want to do anything when everything's okay. I don't want to be like that. You know, there are people that constantly don't leave the plants alone, and that also can have a negative effect. Sometimes you're just disturbing the plant. So closing it up every time I can. And here's one, like this is one of the classic kind of pots that came up in the last weeks. And it's Humcus roro, a hybrid with Humcus roro, grown on Humcus roro. And that kind of hybrid is genetically troubled. So yeah, seeing a lot of seedlings that where I feel like they might not make it in here. I say that every time, and every time I open it up, there's another seedling that's gone. Okay. So there's a question about the albino seedling. How long do you think I should wait to graft in onto Perisciopsis? Should it get a bit bigger first? Okay, so when you have a full variegated albino, that plant might not be able to produce any kind of chlorophyll. So the moment it germinates. The moment you have this full albino seedling, it already races against the clock, and the sooner you can graft it, the better. But the sooner you graft, the higher is the risk that it will not make it. Grafting tiny seedlings, it's not really that it's so difficult, but you need to. It's like with everything, you need to train, you need to practice, and these tiny Perisciopsis seedling grafts, they aren't they aren't reliable all of the time. And the bigger the seedling is, the higher the chance that it will work. So I don't know. I mean, I usually try to leave them. And if a seedling really looks like it will not produce any kind of chlorophyll, I usually decide, do I want to graft it or do I want to do nothing? And in many cases, it is the latter, because I do not keep any kind of plants around that will not at least manage to grow on their own roots. But yeah, if you want to do it, it will probably, if it can't produce chlorophyll, it will become smaller and smaller and smaller. So the sooner the better, definitely. But sometimes you can't see, sometimes you have a seedling that looks like it's fully albino, but it can produce a little bit of chlorophyll. It's just like on when you're dealing with genetic defects, they are not always there 100%. Sometimes it's just greatly reduced. So you have a plant that has sometimes greenish growth, but sometimes with variegated growth. These can, sometimes you don't need to do anything with them. But the problem is Hey guys, I'm sorry. I got a phone call and it was pretty devastating actually. We're talking about the repairs on the heater, and it's instantly turned into a huge problem again. I don't know, when we fix one problem, another one comes up. So yeah, we'll see how it goes. So here, yeah, Humpkes Roro seedlings. Hey guys, I'm back. I'm sorry I had to take the phone call. This is about the repair of the heater. The heater is running, but things are not going great. So every now and then, someone calls me to tell me things are damaged. I don't know. So yeah, I want to finish this up. But it will probably be only an hour that I will be able to do today. I'm a little bit messed up now. Apparently the heater needs more repairs than we can guarantee now. Like then that was financially feasible. I don't know. We'll see. But I'm back doing more seedling stuff. Any questions? I'm happy to take them. I'm not sure where the comments are, but maybe they come back later. Apart from that, yeah, I'm back online, guys. So what have we here? This is a cross where I feel like there's variegation already visible in the seedlings. Cross of mine between columnar and something with a nice flower. But overall, the seedlings, like some of them look very, delayed. Not growing the way they are supposed to grow. Check it out here. And if the chat isn't really here, I'm sorry. Not sure where it is. I was just taking calls in between the stream and everything changed. So in case I'm not seeing the comments now, I'm sorry. But I will finish up the stream now. just going through the containers here until I have time to deal with my heating stuff again. So yeah, these are looking like the ones that are actively growing are looking great. The others are smaller, not really growing. Some of them look even like they are variegated. So maybe I'm losing 1 or 2 seedlings here and there. But this is okay. I will just close it up. And yeah, welcome back, guys. I'm not seeing any kind of comments right now. So maybe the fact that someone called in kind of changed stuff. I can't really see any kind of menu from the stream. So I'm not sure what's going on here. But yeah, I will just finish up the stream now. And the next one I will do with comments again. So yeah, seedlings are looking okay here, but unstable. I see 1 or 2 wiggling around. And yeah, looking okay. We'll just close it up again. Not seeing fungus gnats, and that is great. But I'm getting frustrated with my heater. There's always something. Like when you're an adult, no matter what you do, something is always breaking. Now I mean, this year it was extreme. This year I had to replace a window at the house, and it's still not fully replaced yet. It's just we're just waiting for the replacement. Yeah, and now it's the heater where something needs to be replaced, or what something could be financially, like I couldn't be able to heat the house anymore, you know, like I'm just currently, I don't know, I'm really just a little bit baffled. And yeah, so check this out here. The seedlings are looking good here. Everything perfect, and the seedlings are growing around the little piece of wood that is coming out of the soil. So there's no problem with the organic material, with the organic kind of soil. This is okay. Just closing it up again. These are too much concentrated in the corner. Every now and then you have seedlings, you know, when you sow them out, the seeds kind of roll to the side, and that is bad because you see that most light gets to the center of the pot here. If the sun is shining from this direction, the little piece of here, the corner of the pot here will shield the light, will take away the light from the seedlings. So it would have been better to plant them in center, but now it's too late. So we will just leave them alone and do it later. Next one. This is a pot where we have algae growing in the pot. Not really dangerous, but I often remove it if it gets too close to the seedlings. I don't want any kind of growth to surround the seedlings. I don't want anything to take away light from the seedlings. I want the soil to be perfectly able to let go of the water again. And when you have a top layer that is just moss or algae, it will lead to just a constantly humid kind of climate. They often use different types of moss to germinate seeds because it is so great to keep the humidity, and that is why it can be a problem for seedlings. Apart from that, everything okay. Seedlings are looking healthy. I'm currently just not comprehending how my heater needs another repair now. We have just it's just barely a year after we did a repair on the heater. And now there's another repair on the heater. If this continues, I will get a heart attack. I know for a fact. I have an old house, and there's constantly something that breaks. Constantly. And it's gotten to the point where I might have to sell the house. Because I just can't afford to constantly replace stuff. So yeah. Here are the seedlings. Avocado seeds, everything looking good. They are too deep in the pot. A little bit too kind of just trying to get to the comments again, but it's not showing them. I don't know. But yeah, they are too deep in the pot, too deep in the square pot. But apart from that, everything okay. We will put them under the lamp in a little bit more exposed position. And since they are a little bit more centered, this is okay. This will be all right. Okay, I'm doing another seedling, and then I'm cutting the stream short. I'm just currently in a position where I need to take a moment to think about how to solve the problems with the heater. This thing is a huge problem. And yeah, we'll see what we do. But it's again, once more, you know, you're constantly patching holes. Being broke and having a house is really difficult. You're constantly repairing something, and it's even worse than when you were like living in like when you would rent an apartment. When you live in someone, you know, you're paying your rent, you just expect that everything is warm, you expect that the water is warm, and that is just what you like, the rights that you have. But when you live in your own house, you constantly have something that doesn't work, and you just live with it. And now it's at the point where things just need to work for a while, you know. But yeah, seedlings are looking good. Looking great, actually. Perfect seedlings, healthy and all. Cisala. Cisala hybrid, very healthy seedlings, and they look amazing in every cross. I really like it. Okay, guys. Yeah, I think I got to stop the stream now. I need some time to kind of rethink all the decisions I did in my life that brought me to this point where I have to deal with this broken heater. But I will be back. Thank you for participating. I appreciate it. And yeah, I'll be back tomorrow morning. And tomorrow I hopefully will have regained composure. Tomorrow I hopefully know how I will fix this thing. Because right now, this has been a very exhausting week. So yeah, thank you guys for participating. I will be back. Okay? Thank you.